Good evening. It's a little later than I originally intended. I blame Silver of Dragon. Not that he's aware of it specifically, but he's been playing Hogwarts Legacy, and I decided that, you know what, that's actually a really good plan. I played it before, I completed the game, but there is an awful lot of map that, as part of the story, you don't really go to. And there's a whole lot of extra things to collect and do, and all of those kind of things. So I thought, you know what, I actually fancy doing that. So I've been playing that today, and I did that, fell asleep, and well, now it's 8:30. So, oops, never mind. Anyway, let's get down to business. So, let's have a quick poke at what we're going to do. Now, either you are wrapped around a lot of things, or you are very confused. You are wrapped around things that I'm sure of. There we go. So, you shouldn't be crossed like that. 2, 3. 2, 3. So, my thing's doing a confusing thing. Oh no, it just didn't update properly. Right, so you are not a thing. Mind you haven't exactly done something either. So 3. See, this can't be the right one because it needs to go into there. So you must be in there like that. Right. So let's take you off, put you over there, hide you over there a minute. Sort out the bobbins. Let's have a little look, because these all seemed. This seems a bit of a mess. You need to come through there like that. You are. Will you stop getting longer? Hey, Silver of Dragon, I was just blaming you for why. I was just blaming you for the fact that I haven't been awake. Well, I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy all day. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, I was just blaming you for the fact that I've been playing Hogwarts Legacy all day. Thank you very much for the raid. I'm just sorting out my bobbins, trying to get going. Because this is a little confused. Hang on. 2, 3, 4.5. How do I have 4.5 pairs of bobbins? You potentially. No. Confused. I seem to have 4.5 pairs of bobbins. Unless I'm losing my marbles, which is a distinct possibility. So 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I'm just losing my marbles. That's fine. Loss of marbles is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's the right number. See, a minute ago I had 3. Now I've got 5. Ah, shit. Right. I can't wait to see it. There is something I think really to be proud of, having made your own pattern. I mean, while I made this pattern, it was really a variant on someone else's. It was not technically purely my own idea. I took an idea and I changed it to make it more of what I wanted. So although it doesn't look ridiculously like the original, it's also not that far away. The original still had the zigzags and the squares and the panels, but they had spiders and different stitches, and so I don't really feel that while this is a pattern I worked out, it's not really a pattern I made, because, well, I didn't start off with a blank screen and go, I sat with an original, I played with some stitches and went, well, I want to use these stitches here and those stitches there. What do I have to move to make that work properly? You know, because obviously I had to make these big enough to be whole rose grounds. And so it's not really the same as making my own. But I can't wait to see yours. I really can't. I look forward to it. Well, you see, and that's the difference. I don't pretend this is entirely my pattern. I have very much always referred to it as a variant on this other pattern. So, although I know how to make my own pattern, technically I have not actually done so. I do plan to, I just haven't got round to it yet. Because, well, this is going to take me a small lifetime yet, as is evident from the graphic in the top right hand corner. So I'm trying not to plan ahead too far because, well, you know, I don't want to be queuing up work till I'm 106. So yes, and we need to borrow one. So yes, but I can't wait to see yours. I really can't. How are you doing with your shawl? Awesome. Can't wait to see it. I really can't. I love watching you work. I've enjoyed watching you play Hogwarts Legacy, which is why I reinstalled it and I've been playing this morning. So, well, today. I meant it only to be this morning, but well, I kind of got into it and hours passed, so. found the pin with the end of my finger again. Damaged pillows are probably not the... I mean, there's always someone who seems to think that their second-hand whatever is worth a fortune. I've seen it very much with spinning wheels. You'll have something that's barely a pile of, firewood stick that almost can't be reconstituted into a spinning wheel, and they'll want like £500 for it, and you're going, love, it's not even £500 to go out and buy a brand new one. I'm not going to pay 500 quid for a bit of firewood. That's a lot of money. I mean, I've got a bolster pillow that's nearly a metre long. And I didn't pay anything like that for it, and it's huge. That's a lot of money. Yeah, I'm a little lost for words. Well, depending on the state of it, I would have said somewhere, kind of, if it's really old and looking sorry for itself, obviously not a lot. If it's fairly new looking and still in really great condition, £20-30 maybe. But I've also seen, you must have seen the same. I know these are normal standardy bobbins, right? So I've just realised that my bobbins are a bit more off the bomb. But these are normal kind of standardy bobbins. But when you see someone's like scratched a pair of initials on it and they're asking £25 for it, and you're going, no, I mean, pretty bobbins are nice. And I really love my new bobbins that I've got. They're not on this particular pillow. Hang on. I got, she says, extracting it from behind the dog. Hang on. So, I have new bobbins. Yeah, if you're going to do that much work to it, it's probably not worth the money it's to post it. So I got these new bobbins, and they are heavy. They have a lot of weight to them. So this pack of 12 weighs nearly as much as a mug of coffee, okay? And I bought quite a few. And the seller I bought them from, very kindly, hang on, also sent, because I bought quite a lot of them, also sent some pretty ones with some beads in the middle, which would be great for GIMP threads and general markings. But they sent me 12 of them, so I've got quite a few. And I love the fact that they're quite heavy. I am not a dainty girl. I am not, I'm not skinny and kind of disappear in a puff of wind. I have man-sized hands. So I've always liked chunkier, heavier things. And it's part of the reason I kind of like these over Midlands bobbins, because, well, there's something to hang on to, right? And those ones, although they're very like Midlands bobbins, they're like bigger, beefier versions. So they're 13 centimetres long. So obviously about 3 centimetres longer than a normal Midlands bobbin. But they're also wider. But the fact that they're made of this wood that's quite heavy really is... I can't imagine he's going to sell very much. It seems too expensive. As I say, I've seen some people, try and claim that something's worth a fortune, and you kind of look at it and go, no, I don't know anyone who'd pay that. And I've seen a few things recently on eBay that have come up, and people have put kind of a stupid price on it, and it hasn't sold, and it will come back up again and again. No, you can't ask. I mean, the problem is, for example, we can all have something that means a lot to us. And the idea of parting with it may not be your first choice, but maybe you have to. So to you, it is worth a fortune because it's irreplaceable, it's your favourite. But that doesn't mean it's worth a lot of money. It's a bit like, if your kid made a really ugly toy at school, it looks like someone sat on it, for goodness sake. It is ugly. It is, you can't even tell what it was supposed to be. But your kid made it, so to the parents of the child, they will love it with all their heart, mostly. To anyone else, it's an ugly piece of thing that frankly should be used for skeet shooting, or if it's made of wood, great, firewood it is. It's... worth is... I can understand that to the person maybe, it was granny's and they have lots of fond memories and, those kinds of things. But that doesn't mean it's worth a lot of money. They can, but at the same time, I've never really understood why. Well, I do, because obviously someone's put time and effort into making the bobbin special. But I'm sure, like me, when you're flicking your bobbins about, what they look like is actually not important. I mean, if one of the, if these all had writing on, I almost wouldn't have noticed. Well, you see, this is what I was explaining to my boss, because when I bought the bobbins, I actually bought 750 of the... Well, it's not quite true. I bought 150 of the heavy wooden bobbins, and then once I'd started that Flanders project and played with the bobbins and decided I really, really liked them, I bought 750 more. So I now have 900 of the bobbins. And obviously, that cost a fair bit. But the bobbins themselves were about 40-50p each. I explained to my boss that, my habit, comes with costs. But I also explained, like you've just said, that you can easily go and find a bone bobbin from £25 upwards. But at the same time, if I wanted 900 of them, I'm not prepared to pay that much. I'm really not. It's, ideally, personally... I would love a set of ebony bobbins. I would give a body part, pretty much, or I'd probably have to, for a set of ebony bobbins. I love ebony, it's a glorious wood, right? 150 bobbins. So, the 150 bobbins of the wood that I bought cost me £75. The same amount in ebony is 234. I can't afford that. I can't afford over £1,000 on bobbins. I just can't. And I mean, it's not a bad price, but I don't have that kind of money to be blowing on pretty bobbins, I do remember your book about spiders, and I really do encourage you to do it. Even if you almost do it as a set, almost like a set of how to do a spider. So each page obviously this is a spider that will look like this. This is how you make it. So whether you're making the archway ones, the mother and baby spiders, the spiders with eyes, all of those kind of things, right? And it is sad that people... I've always worried about knowledge that gets lost. Ever since I found out that my grandfather got a very special medal during the Second World War, but that he wouldn't say what he did to get it, and as a result of him dying many years ago, nobody alive now knows what he did to get it. The records of what he did have been lost, and nobody knows. And that's in my lifetime. That knowledge of a man who did something heroic has been lost. Now, it was one man. The world will still keep turning. It's not a problem. But when you... but it is sad. It is sad that no one alive now knows. I will say you can buy a book on Amazon that my grandfather is mentioned in. I haven't actually read it because I'm not really interested in war things. But it is sad. But if you think of how much that applies in general, how many things that people do that are, maybe heroic, special, creative, and then get lost. So, for example, I have my father-in-law's craft collection. Because when he died, the rest of the family literally were just chucking everything in the bin. Now, I couldn't bring myself to actually have the cross-stitch pictures he'd done, because they really weren't my taste, and I really did hope that one of the children would have it. Because by the time he died, I was no longer part of the family. I'd already got divorced by then. But I now have all of his crochet, all of his stuff, and there's some beautiful work in there. And do I sit and fawn over it? No. But it's not lost. I remember the man who did it. I remember, I've still got it. It's not in a bin. It hasn't been thrown away. But it would have been. And, I know that when my dad died, I could have kept more of the things that he made. Now, I kept a number of them, but I did draw a line. I kept the ugly, ugly rugs that he made. God, he made some god-awful rugs. They were very 60s and 70s rugs, and they're ugly. But I kept them. They're currently in the garage, keeping the floor warm for the dogs. Because, they're ugly. But I also kept the tapestry pictures he made for the walls of his house. Some of them are not my choice, and I haven't put them up in my house, but I still have them because he made them. I couldn't find one of the things that he made, which was slightly disappointing because technically it was mine, which was a single bed bedspread which he'd embroidered. Now, it wasn't like wall to wall, but it was highly decorated. There was almost something every inch or so it really was highly decorated. And it had taken him a really long time. I don't know what happened to that, but I couldn't find it. I did trawl through everything and couldn't find it. But it's that kind of thing, is that I did try and keep as much of the stuff that he personally made. Now, a lot of the stuff that he bought and that he really liked, no. Well, he had a bit of a fixation for seriously ugly vases, and every kind of spare space had an ugly vase in it. No, didn't keep that. But it would have been... One thing I didn't keep, which I know annoyed my ex-husband, was the wooden boats. Now, he had made them like you would make a real boat. So he had shaped the kind of U shapes for the keels by taking really thick wood, planing it, soaking it, bending it so that it was bent into shape. He had made each plank as an individual piece of wood and glued and nailed it. He had spent years on these things, and they weren't always small. One was like the cutty sark. One was it was a 3 foot. One was a 3 foot tugboat. This thing was huge. But I don't like them. They're just not me. They're delicate, and I live with dogs, and they just collect dust, and so I didn't keep those. And while I have a few fond memories of them, of one of them, not of the actual boat, but of him making it, because he made it with a motor so that he would be able to attach a remote control to it so that 1, 2, 3, 4 he could sail it. He never did. It sat on a thing in his house, but he made it when he was ill, and so, and I remember being a real brat because he made it when I was quite young, and when he was doing some of his stupid little strips of wood, he was bending them and kind of wincing because he was expecting it to break, and of course, being the little bitch of a cow, I went, snap! Yeah, I nearly lost my life a few times with that. He really struggled to hold his temper with me on those. But it just wasn't my thing. So, but I do, I remember it all. But I think when it comes to crafting, it's really sad that skills are being lost. I mentioned this the other day on my stream, was that when I did karate, as part of the standards for the karate group, if you were going to go and grade, you had to have a karate gi, and you had to have your badge sewn on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The number of people who could not sew a circular badge onto basically a pair of pajamas was frightening. And it was not that, it's just a bit difficult. They physically had no idea how to take a spiky bit of metal with a bit of thread dangling out of it and poke it in and out to attach it. No one said it had to be gloriously done. No one said it had to be invisible and presentable to the Queen, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yet these people had no idea. It is probably time for bed for you. I can imagine that. So, thank you for the raid. Thank you for coming. Thank you for inspiring me to play Hogwarts Legacy all day. But I do encourage you to do your book. Please do your book on spiders, because there are so many variations, and probably even more if you wanted to start kind of getting creative. So please do. I think it would be special, especially if you added, beads and sequins to it as well. If you added all of those things, Silver of Dragons, Book of Spiders, I'd buy one. I promise I'd buy one. Self-publish it on Amazon. I'd buy one. that's not right. That doesn't feel right. One, two, three, four. I keep seeming to have extra ones left over. I made a mistake back there, so that doesn't help. So let's go back here. One, two, three, four, 5.5. You see, that's where it went wrong. Is that you were not part of the deal. You need to stay over there. Stop joining in the party. It's confusing enough. Can you stay over there, please? Before you wonder why I put that on upside down, it's because they're bending. Right. Right. Two of you need to go back in here for a bit. See, you probably can't see, but this is bent. It doesn't really show up. I really need two together. I do have another one, hang on. So if I take this one, if I do this, you can see that if I pin them together, there's a gap at the end because it's bent, and it's not because there's a knot here. It clears the knot. If I hold it with the knot end, so that there is the non-knot end, you can see that there's still a gap. So they're bent. So I thought I'd use them the other way up. Actually, this one seems to be bent the other way. So this one's alright. We'll go this way around. Right, you can go around there for a minute. Okay. You can come around for a minute. So how am I going to do this? I'm going to work downwards, so we need all of you. And possibly one of you. Yes, and one of you. Right. I need both of you. You're my king. Right. I am once again fighting for position amongst the dog. That felt like too many. It's better. ever noticed you only ever catch all the wrong keys when you're really trying not to? Ouch. Keep stabbing myself with these wretched pens. Poor fingers. What the hell's all that crap? This is something that's puzzled me for ages. I get everywhere I look, there seems to be these like crunchy little flakes of stuff. I don't know what they are. I assume it's me, but right. Let's move our pin collection over here. Right. 1, 2. Oh, I'm so sorry my couch is not big enough for sirs, but... Wretched animals. I've got one to the right of me, trying to hide and meld in with the pillow, with the pillow and the cushion. And I've got the other one, who's usually on the right. On the left of me, there is a whole, like, 1.5 seats free. But he's kind of scooched right up under my backside, as much as a 20-kilo dog can achieve that, and kind of grumbling because he can't get any closer. And it's like, darling, my butt and your butt equal more space than that, you know? You know what I decided? People need to make lace pins where the shafts are made of, say, brass, so that they don't, but the tops are made of steel, so that you can pick them up with magnets, but you will always pick them up by the head end, so that you can easily kind of sort them into order and the right way up. That's what we actually need. Because every single one of these I pick up, the head's always under a pile of somebody else. that needs to go somewhere else. It's a very bent pin. Two, three, four, five. Oh no, I haven't finished, idiot. One more square to go. I'm getting so blind to areas and missing them until I look and kind of go, hey, where's that come from? Two, three. So, my pot pins is empty, and I didn't want to mix it with the new pins that I bought because I wanted to make sure that they all stay in a group. So I found these. And other pot pins that I have. Now these are chubby pins, but they're not very sharp pins, and many of them need to go in the bin. because they're blunt. But they will do for the last triangle, although I'm not convinced there's enough in there for a triangle. But we shall give it a go. Because there are quite a few in here, but as we have found out, it is amazingly... I mean, considering my pin pot, this pin pot was basically full to the point it was up to the screws, and it, you know, it was well packed in, and now it's empty. Doesn't hold as many pins as you think. And my ability to pick up two at a time is unparalleled. And the ability for a bobbin to undo itself and get longer astounds me. I mean, sometimes I see it do it, but sometimes you just kind of, you're working along and suddenly there's like one or two that are just really long for no obvious reason. And I swear it's the same ones all the time. These were the original pins I bought when I started lace making, but I stopped using them because so many of them were blunt. And someone said, you can't buy cheap pins, you need to buy proper pins, so I did. See, look, this one's just coming undone. It's just... Sometimes you catch them at it, sometimes you don't. Still too long. I'm gonna stick these up. 3, 2 of those. wrapping round pins. This is why bobbins give me anxiety, because you have the strings on bobbins to help keep them organised and to help you move them around. But bobbins have a habit of having a life of their own. And one of their favourite things to do, she says not twisting them, is to get stuck on pins. But you can't not have the pins. So it's kind of difficult. I still maintain if you could do lace making without the pins, it would go so much faster. Not only from all the times you spend unwrapping your bobbins from getting tangled on pins that you swear it was nowhere near, but also just from the sheer, it takes, if you look, I've gone stonking through 4 pairs of stitches. Technically that's 3 pairs of stitch, that's 3 stitches a pair, right? And that took me next to no time. The grabbing a pin and pasting a pin almost takes as long. But if you've got something like Rose Grand, where you're going half stitch pin, half stitch pin, half stitch pin, half stitch pin, half stitch, then cloth stitch, well, that's a lot of pins in that, and it really does slow it down, and it really does make a huge difference to the speed of what you're doing. And it would be so much nicer if you just kind of didn't have to. Helps if you put the pin on the right side. So I twisted you, but you obviously twisted round the wrong way. Because you came out untwisted, and now you're coming undone. You're done. only just put these in here, but I've changed my mind. I want to lengthen them because, well, they're really short. Then they needed to be short because when we were working with them, they needed to be short. But now we're going to be storing them till next triangle. They don't need to be short. So now we can make them long enough that we can pile them around the back without strangulating everything. Come back. See, now they're so much longer, I can put them more out the way. Okay, so we don't need you for 3 minutes, so we're going to put you on a stick. Thank you, Jim Tendo64. Don't you come from Darth Microtransactions channel. Fair enough. I do, but I generally do this, not gaming, although I do game, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be interested in Darth's channel. And I'm actually watching his channel, well, I'm listening to it more accurately, while doing this, because, well, it makes good listening, and occasionally I have to look over to see what he's gone, oh no, over this time. But yeah, I do play games. I ascended in PoE 2 today. Did I ascend this morning or was it last night? I think it was last night. Well, technically it was today because I think it was about 4 o'clock this morning. So, so I do play a lot of games. I suck at it a bit, but I do this, and so yes, I am a mediocre streamer of not many viewers, and I do find that the conversation helps keep my fingers moving, to be honest. I tend to kind of daydream and watch things and get sidetracked when there's no one to talk to. So, but yes, I do stream. This is me. It's nice to have you here. Well, thank you. It doesn't look as cool. Well, like everything, it probably looks more complicated to you than it actually is. And, well, there are lots of mistakes in it. And the final product is represented in the top right-hand corner. I am making well, you make triangles to make squares. So I've got a quarter here left of this square to go. You can't see because it's under a pile of bobbins, but if I lift this up, you can see that there is square underneath it. So this will be square number 5. I have 18 of the wretched things to make, and they take about a month at a time. It is going to be a net curtain. It is going to be possibly the most ugly net curtain ever to have existed. But I will have made it. Yeah, it's not a fast hobby. And when you screw it up, it takes even longer. It is a labour of love. And as I said, the biggest problem is it's not like even at the end of it, it's going to be the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Because, well, it ain't. She says, realising that they weren't twisted before we started. So, there we go. It is, I am doing it to document my descent into madness more than anything else. Because my brain has a habit of going, hey, you managed to put a dot of paint on a piece of paper. How about you kind of decorate your entire house Sistine Chapel size in pinhead kind of dots and make a pretty picture? This is kind of how my brain works. So, part of this is to document for my brain that the next time it has a really big idea, do you really mean that? But secondly, it also helps me keep track of the time I spend on it. It also, I have a habit of doing crafts that are being forgotten. Because to be honest, who the hell needs lace, right? True reality, no one alive needs lace. You might have it on a wedding dress, you might have it on a you might have it, but you don't need it. But I do lots of other hobbies, and most of them are harder to stream, so this makes quite a good stream thing because it's a flat pillow with, she says, realising it's not straight still. Hang on, let's do that instead. So it is easier to stream this than most of my other hobbies due to angles of everything, because obviously I'm looking at it from this direction. You're technically looking at it from this direction. But you can at least see, and of course I can zoom in and, you know, show you chunky bits, and show you kind of in close quarters what I'm doing. So from that point of view, you can almost have a better view of what I'm doing than I do, because the pins get in the way. But it is something that it's surprising actually how many people have kind of come along and gone, what is this? What you're doing? And it's nice to see because, as I say, it's almost like a lost art. People are, I found that the number of people under 30 who can even sew 2 pieces of fabric together is really small. And it's really quite scary, actually, how small it is. So, come the zombie apocalypse, I can make wool. I can then knit, crochet, weave my wool. So I can make clothing, blankets. I'm gonna live because people will want me around. They may not want me as a person around, but they'll want me and my abilities around. So I can trade it for things that I can't do. I'm also the daughter of a carpenter, and given the right tools, I can do that too. Well, exactly. Lace may not be the thing of requirement for the apocalypse, but most of my other hobbies will be. So, that's fine. I've got looms and plural, and spinning wheels, plural, and I can teach other people, and it can be a thing, right? So, from that point of view, come the zombie apocalypse, we don't all have to walk around butt naked once all the clothes have kind of got a bit sorry for themselves. Which, frankly, if you'd met me, you'd realise that's a good thing. I am no page 3 model. So, yes. It is, but it is one of those things is that this technically is really not hard. Lace making is made of 2 moves. Cross, left, over right. Twist, right, over left. That's it. You do combination of those and that's it. That's all you do. And so, in theory, it's really simple. In practice, of course, doing it right, it's like playing a game. We all know that, you need to dodge the boss hits and you need to do this. But getting it actually right is a lot harder than it sounds. So, yeah. Yeah. But this is me. I try and stream every day. So, yeah. Often I'm listening to DMing in the background because it gives me something to listen to. I played Hogwarts Legacy today because I watched someone else and I was like, I really ought to have investigated more of that map. So I downloaded it and was doing that today. So hence this is a bit of a later stream than I would normally do because it is 20 past 10 here. So at night, that is. But yeah, it's good to see you here, Jim. Well, you're always welcome, and you're always free to ask as many questions as you like. If you want to understand, maybe, not everybody does. Some people just like listening to the noise, so, yeah, I'm not going to judge. I do occasionally have a bit of a blue mouth when I get it all wrong, but, don't we all? That doesn't feel right. It's because it's not. It's YouTube. thank you, Lola Fox Nation, for following. Time to make these longer because we're done with you for this triangle. Thank you. Yeah, I'm. To be honest, I have absolutely zero ability to market myself. It's a long story, but it involves my parents, and generally, even if I had chilled bottled water in a desert while they're running the, Iron Man race past me, and I was the only vendor, I'd still not manage to sell any bottled water. I am not a marketing person. I am not a salesperson. So I quietly do my thing and kind of sit in the corner, minding my own business, really. Which, generally means no one gets to hear about it, which is fine. If they want to come, they want to come. But everyone's welcome. Everyone's welcome to ask questions. There is no, there are no stupid questions. Well, technically that's not true. There are some stupid questions, I guess, but as long as they're vaguely relevant, not really. Exactly, right? I mean, I have a habit, I was just explaining to Jim, I have a habit of doing crafts that are of yesteryear. I am a geek. I write programs, I work on servers for a living, and I play games. And then I do stuff like this. Now, this is the stupidest hobby, right? I knit, weave, crochet, spin, wool, and all the rest of it. Those are sensible hobbies. For I like blankets, I like jumpers, I don't do lace. I have no need for lace. So why in the name of mercy do I enjoy making the stuff? Because I don't want it. I don't want it in my house. I mean, I don't have frilly things in my house. Virtually everything's a plain colour. The only thing I could think of that I would use is what I'm making, which is, as represented by the squares in the top right hand corner, I am making 18 squares, which I will sew together, and term a net curtain, and I will hang it up in a window and then ignore it because, well, it'll be on my landing, and when I get up I'm not really awake enough to look at it. Currently, of course, it's going to take many months. It's going to take about 18 months to make it because each square takes about a month. So with that in mind, sorry, it's just the previous pin's at a bit of a funky angle. I wanted to check I didn't put it in the wrong hole. So with that in mind, it still looks like it's in the wrong hole. Let's straighten you up a bit. Otherwise you'll annoy me. 18 stinking months to make a net curtain that I'm really not going to see in the morning. And when I go to bed, I'm too busy crawling upstairs, kind of half asleep, and we'll go straight to bed and not look at it. So, whatever. This is the only thing I could think of I would use, because bookmarks are a common thing. I have a Kindle. Don't need bookmarks on a Kindle. It's kind of one of those problems, is that everything that I could, that generally gets made, I wouldn't use. So this was the only thing I could think of that I could make for myself that I would actually use. And even then, I'd ignore it. But this is my plan. This is my brain's big idea of what it wanted to make. So here we are, I am at mercy of the brain cells who said, but I really want to. So I did. I mean, I don't know where it got the idea from, because I think it's a stupid idea, but it'll only bang on. I mean, I thought about knitting a double net curtain, well, I'll call it a curtain, window cover because it was going to permanently obliterate the window. But it wanted to do it in the tiniest of threads, almost like this stuff, so that you could have like a zillion stitches to get the resolution of picture. And it banged on about it. Well, it still occasionally bangs on about it, and it's kind of like, it's like 20 years on, and then my brain's still going, can we do that? No, brain. No, let's not do that. But I conceded to this because it keeps banging on about curtains, and at least I thought this would be possibly the easiest one, because if nothing else, if I make a load of squares and hate it, well, then I make them all into something else and give them away or something, right? It's only once they're joined and made into a rectangle that they're a bit more net curtainy. And even then, well, I could still technically call it a tablecloth, and give it to someone, so, I can always part with it. But it still wants to do one in one piece, which is a bit scary, because that would be a lot of bobbins. This is not a lot of bobbins, by the way. It is a lot of bobbins, but it's not a lot of bobbins in a lot of ways. So, because you're only ever working on half the square, so this is what, 35 pairs? Well, I think it's 36 pairs or something of bobbins. Whereas, if I wanted to make it in one piece, it's a few hundred. So I do have a few hundred bobbins to make the one piece. I just am not going there yet, I am avoiding this because, well, I'm not sure my sanity would really appreciate. Sorry, I couldn't see the hole. There it is. I'm not sure my sanity would actually appreciate 50 billion bobbins. The good advantage is you just follow the piece of paper underneath, and you don't have to do too much thought with it. You just have to do it right, and believe me, that's harder than it sounds. Mistakes are plentiful. But I'm nearly done for this triangle, anyway. And once we're done, I turn the corner and start again. All the squares are the same, so it gets a little repetitive. So I do occasionally wander off and do other projects, small projects as a detour, just to keep the brain alive and awake. But of course, for every detour I take, the longer it will be. So I try not to take big detours. So, it's not like I'm going to start on a all-in-one net curtain while I'm doing this, because, well, I really don't need two huge projects on the go. So yeah, I stream most days. I guarantee to stream on a Friday afternoon my time, because I'm British. And I have Friday afternoons off, but I do stream most evenings my time, so it's 20 to 11 here at the moment at night. I don't normally stream quite this late, but it's not unknown. The problem is the uploading to YouTube afterwards is more annoying then, because, well, it doesn't finish till stupid o'clock in the morning, and I've usually got work the next morning like I do tomorrow, so I try and avoid too late a stream usually, but I was in the mood, so I played Hogwarts Legacy all day, and I felt, oops, crap, I was going to finish my triangle today, so hence I'm here finishing my triangle, because, well, it's good to finish triangles. I always feel better when I finished a triangle. I feel like I've made progress. The slowest part of lace making is definitely the pins. One more pin to go. Here it is. There we go. Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's make you all super long because that's going to be we're going to turn the corner, and we don't need you to be short once we've turned the corner. So that's you. Let's lengthen you because we finished with you. Right, time to push these pins down, and then we'll turn the corner. Where's my pin pushy thing? Right, pokey pokey pin. So, what we need to do now is put that round there and put that round there, and we unpin this like this, and weave. Oh, we didn't put you down, so we pick you. Get you ready up, we move you out the way, we get this under here, and we go. Put you back down. Oops, traps it. So, So. So, probably should have taken a picture of that. Crappity poo. What I can do is pick you out and slide you all a large amount like this. Not enough, I don't think. Yes, I can. I can roll you round to take a photo. If I turn this round, take a photo of my triangle, because I like taking photos of my triangle. Yeah. Now, I have to sort all of these out again. There we go. Right. There we go. Now we're ready for tomorrow. And we can so yes, that's the end of stream for today. We have completed our triangle. I shall just update the graphic because I'm a good girl. P for progress. I really ought to have these in alphabetical order. Green. Don't ask why it's called green. Oh, don't take so long to load. Come on. So, save. There we go. So now we have updated our graphic because we have 3/4 of a square. I shall be back tomorrow for more of the same. I hope to see you all again. Take care. Bye bye.